person.
Hare Krishna, Nina Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Guru Maharaj ki jai, Mrs. Shyamaguri Devidasi from Charlotte. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shamagari Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances, Mata, at your lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for all your wonderful services, and thank you for hosting this program, Mataji.
Thank you.
It's helping so many people across the world. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Nina Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi from Texas. And I just wanted to wish Megha Mataji happy Krishna conscious birthday. Thank you, Megha Mataji and Yashomati Mataji, both of your association. Wonderful mom and daughter. Megha Mataji, we wish you a very happy birthday. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances, Mata. Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Thank you so much for your wonderful association, Mataji. And thank you for announcing the name of the devotees who have their wonderful Krishna conscious birthday today. Mataji, Megha Mataji, please accept all our humble obeisances. Should we all say Hari Bol for Megha Mataji and Ishwati Mataji who have their birthdays today?
Yes.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari
Bol.
Hare Krishna, Nina Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga and to all the assembled devotees. This is Megha from Naperville and Vinita Gandharvika Mataji and everyone. All the devotees, I am so grateful for your association. Thank you so much. This is such a big blessing for me that, I'm getting wished by such pure devotees. So please bless me that I can continue progressing in my Krishna consciousness journey. Only by your prayers and blessings I can do anything. So thank you so much. Very, very grateful for everyone's association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Megha Mataji. Yeah, we are very grateful to have your association. Please accept our humble obeisances, Mata. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Have a wonderful, blessed day, Mataji. And thank you for joining. Please keep joining here. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Nina Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. This is Padma from Virginia. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Padma Mataji. Dandavat Pranam, Mata. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Thank you so much for your wonderful service, Mata. And thank you for joining early morning Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call, Mataji. Welcome. Please keep joining. Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna, Nina Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharajas, and all glories to the assembled devotees. This is Tiffany in Pennsylvania. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Tiffany Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances, Mata. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Many, many thanks, Mataji, for your wonderful association. Many thanks for your wonderful services, Mata. Please keep joining Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. Welcome.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mata.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead, Mata.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Gauranga and all the assembled devotees. Yashomati from Chicago. And thank you, everyone, Mataji, for giving blessings and prayers for her. So I am so grateful to the Bhakti Sangha Japa call that I am getting very fortunate like that. So I'm very happy to have you all. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Yashomati Mataji. We are very blessed to have you, Mataji, your association. Please accept my humble obeisances, Mata. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Thank you very much always for your consistent association here, Mataji. Please keep inspiring us. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you, all of them. Thank you, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, everyone.
Have a wonderful, blessed day, Mataji. Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna, Nina Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharajis. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumar Devidasi from Raleigh. Happy birthday, Megha Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari Mataji, please accept our humble obeisances, Mata. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. All glories to all the assembled wonderful devotees here, Mataji. Please keep joining, and thank you so much for your wishes and blessings for Yashamati Mataji and Megha Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Megha Mataji. My Danvat Pranam to you and to all assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru and Gauranga. Have a Krishna conscious birthday to Megha Mataji and the other devotee. I don't know. I sorry, I forgot the name.
Yashamati Mataji.
Yashamati Mataji, yes. So may Damodar bless both of them, and all the participants, all the members of our Bhakti Sangha group. Namami Ishwaram Satchidananda Rupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajaman Yashoda Bhiyu Lukhalabda Manam Paramrishta Matyanto Tudriti Gopya. Damodar ki jai, Radha Damodar ki jai. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your wonderful blessings for these wonderful devotees here, Mataji. Please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj, Mataji. Thank you very much for your blessings and thank you for your wonderful association, Mataji. Please keep joining Bhakti Sangha. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. I'm from Haridwar.
Wonderful. You're right at the Hari's Dwar. You know, it's wonderful. It's how blessed you are to live there, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dandvat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to all Guru Maharajas, all glories to the assembled devotees. This is Shiromani Nandarani Devidasi from Krishna Katha She's also Qatar. And happy Krishna conscious birthday to Yashamati Mataji and Megha Mataji. Thank you for your wonderful services, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna Mataji, Nina Mataji.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. Please accept our humble obeisances, Mata. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, all glories to all the assembled devotees here. Thank you, thank you, thank you for showering your blessings for Yashamati Mata and Megha Mataji. I'm sure they are so blessed, and especially in this Damodar Mata, this Damodar month. Mataji, please keep joining us. And thank you so much for your association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, just a small suggestion. It's Megha Mataji's birthday only. Yashamati Mataji is her mother. So we are just thanking her mother as well. But the
Okay, Mataji. Thank you very much for kindly correcting me, Mataji. Thank you so much. I was under the impression that both the Matajis were having their birthdays, but thank you. I know Megha Mataji's mother is Mahendra's iPhone. That's what I see. But thank you so much, Megha Mataji. Please accept our humble obeisances. And Yashamati Mataji, apologies because I said it was your birthday too.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Just thank you, Nilata Mataji, for that correction. Also, Yashamati is my mom, Nina Mataji. Her phone just got updated, so now it is Yashamati. Her name is showing up versus Mahendra's iPhone.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful! Because I remember when I met you in the temple, I see. Remember Mahendra's iPhone? That's good. But yes. Thank you, Mata. Thank you. Thanks to both of you. Wonderful mother and wonderful daughter. Please keep joining. So Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
We are still waiting for Maharaj to join. Should I rather pass it on to Tiffany Mataji? Would you like to introduce, give a brief introduction, Mata? You could kindly go ahead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This morning, we are so very fortunate to have with us His Holiness Candramauli Swami Maharaj. Maharaj is a disciple of ISKCON founder Acharya, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and he is also an initiating spiritual master within the ISKCON movement. Maharaj was born in New Jersey in 1947, and he came in contact with the International Society for Krishna Consciousness in Denver, Colorado, at the age of 24. In 1973, he began practicing Krishna consciousness in New York City, and shortly thereafter began serving at the New Vrindavan Farm Community in West Virginia. That same year, he received initiation from His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. In 1986, His Holiness Candramauli Swami Maharaj accepted the sannyas order and began preaching in Cincinnati and Columbus, Ohio. In 1995, he began serving as a resident sannyasi in Chicago, where he was based until 2013, when he relocated to Karlovac, Croatia. At present, Maharaj offers spiritual guidance around the world, or in Europe, the USA, and in India. Hare Krishna. Welcome to the call, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna, Tiffany Mataji. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. And you look so beautiful in your lovely attire today, Mataji.
Oh, Mataji, thank you.
Thank you, Mat. We are still waiting for Maharaj to join. So if other devotees would like to unmute yourself and introduce yourself, I would love to welcome you all. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj Candramauli. My name is Scarlett and I'm calling from Sweden.
Hare Krishna, Scarlett Mataji, please accept our humble obeisances, Mata. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. It's very, very, very inspirational. And it's so inspiring to see you that you're joining us from all the way from Sweden, Mataji. Please keep gracing us with your association at Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. It means a lot to us. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Nina Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all the assembled devotees on the call. Please accept my humble obeisances. This is Harita from Houston.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Mataji, where are you joining from? I couldn't catch that.
I'm joining from Houston, Mataji.
Oh, you're from Houston. Yes, Mataji. Please accept our humble obeisances. Thank you so much for joining Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call, Mataji. Please keep joining. Hare Krishna. We are still waiting for His Holiness Candramauli Swami Maharaj to join. As you know, our next session is going to be the Srimad Bhagavatam study. But
Hare Krishna, Nina Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all the assembled devotees. This is Indulekha Karuna Devidasi from Lincoln. I'm wishing Megha Mataji a very, very happy birthday too.
Hare Krishna, Indulekha Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances, Mata. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all glories to all our Guru Maharajas. Thank you so much for all your services, Mataji. I sincerely mean it. Thank you so much for your everyday consistent services. And thank you for joining this association, Mataji. Welcome.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandavat Pranam. I offer my obeisances to all the assembled devotees, and I offer my obeisances to you, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, and I'm wishing a very happy Krishna conscious birthday to Megha Mataji. I offer my obeisances to Megha Mataji too. Hare Krishna, Mataji. This is all from West Bengal.
Yes, Prabhuji. Ayan Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much for joining this call every day, Prabhu. Please keep joining. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. And once again, we welcome you. Thank you for your blessings and thank you for joining. Ayan Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. I'm not capable of blessings. Hare Krishna.
No, Prabhu. You're so wonderful. Thanks for being so modest. We have so many Megha Mataji, the devotees are pouring, they're showering their blessings on you. How wonderful. It's so happy to see everybody's wonderful comments on the chat. Wishing you happy birthday, Krishna conscious birthday.
Thank you so much. I'm feeling so blessed. I'm overwhelmed with joy. I'm so fortunate.
Especially in Damodar month. Oh my goodness, that's an extra credit.
Oh, Krishna, this is wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to everyone. I don't know, grateful is not even enough word to express how I'm feeling, but I just want to express my gratitude to all of you for giving me your wonderful association and and this Bhakti Sangha Japa family. I'm blessed. I feel blessed by having this. Thank you so much. I Dandavat pranams to all of you at your lotus feet.
Thank you, Mataji. Should we try and call Maharaj? What do you think? Anybody else would like to announce their name, or we can chant a little bit while waiting for Maharaj to join? Anybody else that would like to share their name? I would be delighted to welcome you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to our Guru Maharaj. This is Srimati Devidasi from Dallas, Texas.
Hare Krishna, Srimati Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet, Mata. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all glories to all our Guru Maharajas. Thank you very much for joining Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call, Mataji. Please keep joining this association. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
So do you know, Mataji, when Maharaj is joining?
Yeah, I messaged Mataji. I'll try calling him.
Okay, thank you.
Mataji, he is joining in 2 minutes.
The devotees, we just got information that His Holiness Candramauli Swami Maharaj is going to join us real soon. And today we are going to study from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto number 6, chapter number 3, verse number 16. Maharaj will be joining any minute. Thank you for bearing with us. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Ram Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna, Ram Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare
Hare Ram, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna. Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances, Maharaj, at your lotus feet. All glories to Sri thank you so much for your association, Maharaj. We were waiting. We will, without any further ado, Maharaj, we will go ahead and begin our study from Canto number 6, chapter number 3, verse number 6. Whenever you're ready, Maharaj, please take over the call. Hari Bol.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 3, describe duties for mankind is the canto, chapter and verse number 16. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yamvainam Gopir Manasa Subirvam Navida Giravasu Biku Chaksate. Atmanam Ampir Santam Atmanam Chakshur Yataivad Vitayas Takaram. As the different limbs of the body cannot see the eyes, the living entity cannot see the Supreme Lord, who is situated as a super soul in everyone's heart. Not by the senses, by the mind, by life there, by thoughts within the heart, by vibrations of words, can the living entities ascertain the real situation of the Supreme Lord. Okay, 1 minute. Break back. Though the different parts of the body do not have the power to see the eyes direct the movements of the different body's different parts. The legs move forward because the eyes see what is in front of them. The hand touches because the eyes see touchable entities. Similarly, every living being acts according to the direction of the super soul who is situated in his heart. The Lord himself confirms Savashichaham Radisani Visto Matir Jnanam Apovanam Sha. I am seated in everyone's heart and giving directions for remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. Elsewhere in the Bhagavad Gita is stated Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Hridaysar Jumatishtati. The Supreme Lord as the super soul is situated within the heart. The living entity cannot do anything without the sanction of the super soul. The super soul is acting at every moment, but the living entity cannot understand the form and activities of the super soul by manipulating their senses. The example of the eyes and the body limbs is very appropriate. If the limbs could see, they could walk forward without the help of the eyes, but that is impossible. Although one cannot see the super soul in one's heart through sensual activities, his direction is necessary. Om Gyan Timiranda Syalagyanajana Salakani Saksu Unnamitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Name Namaste Saraswati Devi Lauravani Pacharine Nirvase Sartunyavadi Tatvyatyogans Amen. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare. So this verse Vachya Chahamriti Sami Vistomatat Smirtam Agyanam Moksha. So when it says here the Lord is directing all the activities of all living beings, what does it mean is that he's fulfilling our desires accordingly. If we desire to remember him, he helps in that to fulfill that desire. If we desire to forget him, he comes up with different reasons why we shouldn't remember him. And if we desire that he doesn't exist, he'll give us a whole series of philosophies to confirm that our opinion that God does not exist. So in other words, according to the level of our desire, the quality of our desire, the Lord supplies the ingredients to help us fulfill the desire. The example here that is used is very appropriate, as it mentions here that the eyes are directing all of the other senses to act in a certain way. And although the senses are acting, they cannot act according anyway unless they are directed by a higher source, in this case, the eyes. So we are also situated in a position where we are under the control of either the material energy or the spiritual energy. You're not independent. No one is independent. Everyone is acting according to their desires and getting the results accordingly. And even though we are acting according to our desires, we can't even provide the results for those desires. We desire to go in a certain direction, and therefore we plan our activities according to how we want to fulfill that desire. In other words, say we want to go from one place to another, say a long distance drive, we have to know what direction our goal is. We have to have the vehicle or the means by which we're going to get there. We have to have the understanding and how we are going to make this activity, put it into practice. In other words, we plan, but unless, as Krishna says here, unless he gives the intelligence accordingly, one cannot function according to one's desires. But he does fulfill our desires. So the living entity is not independent. Under the influence of the material energy, the living entities are moving. Maya dakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam. Material energy is working in such a way. Daiviyesha gunamayi mama maya darate ye mama eva ye papadvite time maya etantaram. Okay. And so the living entity is simply manipulated either by the spiritual energy or by the material energy. The living entity is not independent. Our independence depends on where we place our focus. If we want to work in the material world, we get put under one of the influences of the material energy, such as goodness, passion, or ignorance. These are the three modes of material energy, and they conduct all of the activities in this material world. We plug into a particular mode according to the nature of our desire, and then we act in that way. If we want to desire to destroy something, or we are lazy, indolent, want to act in a sinful way, we're put under the mode of ignorance. If we want to work hard to make a lot of money, we're put under the mode of passion. If we want to understand how to perform activities in the best possible way with the best possible results, we are put under the mode of goodness. And if we want to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we are situated in the activities of transcendence or devotional service. So there's an energy, a mode, a pulling force that fulfills the nature of our desire. Now, sometimes you might say, well, what happens? I have a particular desire, but I can't fulfill my desire. That means that according to your previous activities, the material energy is giving you the results of your activity. And although you want to change the results of your activity because the material energy is providing the results of your previous activity, karma, in other words, you want to make a lot of money, so you make a lot of money, and you think I'll be happy. But although you make a lot of money, you're not happy because you're not meant to be happy. You're meant to engage in some kind of suffering. And therefore, even though you're working in a certain way, in order to fulfill a particular desire, your previous karma is pushing you in a certain direction. And therefore, you're getting the results of that karma. Either goodness, passion, or ignorance, or a mixture of all three, either one. So the living entity is never separate, but the Lord is the conductor behind everything. He is the hidden force that cannot be seen. Just like the legs can't see the eyes, the arms cannot see the eyes, but the eyes are directing the arms and the legs to work in a certain way. Similarly, the Lord situated in the hearts of everyone is simply acting to fulfill the desires of the living entity, and he's also providing the intelligence by which we can perform those activities and get our desired result. Sometimes we don't take the intelligence of the Lord and we just go ahead and perform the activity, and therefore we get a different result. And so in many cases, the Lord acts through the intelligence of the living entity to help him fulfill or her fulfill their desires. So this is very important. The point is we are always controlled. We're never independent of control. And there's two categories of control, spiritual and material. And we have a choice. When we engage in devotional service, we're putting ourselves under the control of the Lord. And he is facilitating our activities and also giving us the results. When we are acting independent of the Lord, according to our desires in this material world, he has also given us the intelligence on how to do that, and also he gives us the results through the material energy. That means he's controlling us not directly, but through his material energy. When we work under the care of the Lord in devotional service, it is direct control by the Lord. The example sometimes is given. A cat will carry its kitten in its mouth, and the kitten is just happily being carried by the mother cat from place to place. And the kitten feels protected, the kitten feels secure, happy. But then again, that same cat will pick up a rat, and that rat will be in a very fearful condition. And knowing that kitten, that cat is simply deaf to the rat. It's the same cat, but according to the nature of the living entity, then a different result is given. So if we want to be successful in fulfilling our spiritual desires, we must work under the direction of Krishna in the form of his spiritual master, which is his representative in the material world. And then we are free from the results of material activities. If we are not purely acting in devotional service, in other words, if we're still trying to gain something material from our spiritual activities, that is called karma mishra bhakti. Sometimes it's called jnana mishra bhakti. Karma Mishra Bhakta means I'm performing an activity in devotional service, and I want to enjoy the results for my own interests. Therefore, the activity, although it is being engaged in devotional service, the motivation is personal gain, and therefore it is not pure. So we may get a little advancement from that. In other words, because we're acting under the spiritual energy, we're protected from the material energy, but because our desires are not pure in our execution of devotional service, we are not getting the complete mercy of the Lord. In other words, we may get a material results from our spiritual activity, but it doesn't give us the satisfaction we have been trying for. So here it's if you go to the very last line in the purport, we have to move the page up a little bit. Let's go up about one notch. There you go. Oh, too far. Okay, right there. Although one cannot see the super soul in one's heart through sensual activity, this direction is necessary. Just like, as we explained here, the eyes cannot, or the limbs cannot see the eyes, but still they work under the direction of the eyes to direct the limbs, but through the process of the mind. So when we understand that, then when we understand we are completely controlled at every second, not just every moment, but every second, then we should be thinking how to put myself under the control of a superior force, which will be for my benefit, and that is devotional service. But no one can be free from control. That is the nature of the living entities exist. It's either in the material energy or in the spiritual energy or in a mixture of both. So it says here, the living entity cannot do anything without the sanction of the super soul. Sometimes we want to perform a particular activity, and we go about doing that activity and it doesn't work. And that means the super soul didn't give sanction for that particular activity. Or if it's a material activity, our karma was placed in a different way, and therefore we have somehow or other got a different result from the activities that we have. For instance, we have the example when at the end of the Battle of Kurukshetra, Dhritarashtra, the very powerful king of the Kurus, he was defeated in the sense that all his sons, who were opponents of the Kurus, the Pandavas, were defeated in the war. And therefore, Dhritarashtra was very much concerned why all of this played out in such a way. So knowing Krishna's position, he came to Krishna and he said, my dear Lord, I was a king. I am a king. I was born blind. I had 100 sons, and all of them died in the battle. Tell me what was my karma? And Krishna revealed everything to the inquisitive king. And he said, my dear king, 50 lives ago, and he said, 50 lives ago, you were a hunter and you shot a flaming arrow into a nest of birds. There were 100 birds in the nest. All of the birds died by the fire. The mother bird escaped, but she was blinded by the fire. So Dhritarashtra got his answer. He had 100 sons, they were all killed. He was born blind. But then he asked, well, why, my dear Lord, 50 lives? The Lord said, that is the nature of how material energy works. Unless one can pay back the results of their karma, they have to wait until they have the credits in order to get the results of their karma. For instance, say you borrow some money and then you owe a person or an agency, and they are waiting for you to accumulate enough money where you can pay it back. You may not be able to pay back the debt immediately, but you'll have to wait to accumulate the money needed. And then once the money is there, you pay the debt. So Krishna told him, it took you 50 lives to develop enough good karma wherein you were able to produce 100 sons. And then when all of that was in place, your karma manifested. And therefore, all your sons were killed. So this was Krishna's response, explaining the intricacies of karma. But no one can really understand the intricacies of karma because it's too difficult to understand. What does it mean by it's too difficult? It's that there is so many activities that we perform, and all of these mix together and come into what they call a particular focus where the karma works in different categories, such as there are instant karma. Instant karma is the most easy to understand. Instant karma means I do something and immediately I get the result of that activity. Such as maybe I stick my hand in the fire and immediately the fire burns. So that means because of that activity, you got a result immediately. I may say something very nice to someone and someone responds in the same way. That's another example of how karma works instantly. But then there is manifest karma, there's delayed karma, and there's mass karma. These are three other categories of karma. Delayed karma is what we hear in the case of Dhritarashtra, who couldn't get his results right away, but he had to accumulate enough pious activities. And then when that was in place, just like to use the example, you want to pay a debt, but you don't have the money, so you work until you get enough money, then you can pay the debt. So that's a delayed reaction to a particular activity. So delayed karma means something will happen in due course of time, but not immediately. And we find that many times in people's lives. And that comes up sometimes in the most, there was one particular book that was written many years ago. Why do bad things happen to good people? It was written by a rabbi, a Jewish priest. And it was based on a life experience he had. He had a child that was born with a very rare disease called progeria. And progeria is a very rare disease wherein one goes through their aging process very fast. So his son became an old man and died at the age of 14. Very rare disease, but it does happen. So he saw his young son going through his life cycle in 14 years and dying of old age. He was thinking, I am a rabbi, and here is a young person who hasn't done anything wrong. Why did he have to go through this suffering? And so, being a religious person who didn't want to blame God, so he said, because sometimes people think, well, you know, God's the supreme controller, and there's so many nice people who are suffering in the world. Why is that happening? Sometimes in wars, you see innocent people apparently being killed. But on a higher level, no one is innocent because no one can see the collective karma of an individual. So things manifest accordingly. And the law of the material energy is very strict and very, what we say, quick. It works accordingly. And so after accumulating so many delayed karmas, one's manifest karma starts to appear. And that's when the delayed karmas come in the form of a result. Another example of what is manifest karma is you're born in a particular family, you're born in a particular gender, you're born in a particular country, you're born in a particular category of people, such as you might be very beautiful, not so beautiful, have good intelligence, slow intelligence. In other words, all of these are due to cumulative delayed karmas that have happened in the past, and then they manifest in the form of one's birth. And then one takes birth. So nothing happens by accident. So those people say, well, things happen by chance. Prabhupada says, chance means I don't know. It's another way of saying I don't know. Because nothing happens by chance. Everything is under the control of the Lord through either directly in the spiritual sense or indirectly through the material energy. So if one wants to rise above all of that control and be controlled in the realm of freedom, such as we give the example, a person lives in a particular country, breaks the law, has to go to jail. And so the country sets up the jail system in order to punish those who do not follow the laws of the land. Now, the jail system is set up by the country itself. So it's part of the country's way of dealing with deviant persons. But then there's another group of people who follow the laws of the country, and therefore they're considered free citizens. And they get the benefits of what is provided by the country. So in the same way, we can remain free from all the results of our material activities when we take shelter of Krishna in devotional service and engage in devotional service. Well, you might say, well, I'm doing that, but I can still see that there is so many activities that are coming upon me that are not very desirable. That means what you're getting is a small portion of what you are actually meant to get, because as soon as you engage in devotional service, you are under the Daivi energy, the spiritual energy, and you still may have karmic reactions coming from previous lives or even in the present. Still, these activities come, or these results come, in a minimized way. For example, as Srila Prabhupada has used an example, you may have been a murderer in your previous life, and therefore you haven't atoned for that murder. So you come to devotional service and you cut your finger. In other words, you get a small, tiny reaction for a heinous activity in your previous lives. In other words, devotional service will minimize the activity. And if you stay fixed in devotional service, at one point, you'll get no more karmic activities from any of your previous material activities. You'll become completely under the care of the spiritual energy. And anything that happens to you is directly given to you by Krishna to elevate you in Krishna consciousness or to instruct you and guide you to a higher level of understanding. Either one. And then you're free from all karma. And that's the point of devotional service. So we give the example when you have a fan and you pull out the plug of the fan or you turn the switch of the fan off, The fan may still turn, even though the power is no longer being supplied to help the movement of the fan. But the residual force of the previous electrical current is still there, and gradually the fan slows down and eventually stops. So our material karma will eventually stop as we engage more and more in devotional service. And if we do apparently get some reactions, and it appears to be something like karma, it is not. It is simply Krishna guiding the living entity in a certain way, or instructing the living entity in some principle of knowledge, or it may also be something that the Lord gives to the living entity in order to help them take more advantage of one's relationship with the Krishna. In other words, taking greater shelter. Now you have another category, and that we can use that as the pure devotee. Sometimes the pure devotee is put into difficult circumstances, but he's never defeated by the circumstances, but he may apparently have to go through some challenges. And the example is Srila Prabhupada. When he came to perform devotional service in the Western countries, he had to get here. And so somehow Krishna arranged for him to go by ocean liner for 38 days on the Atlantic Ocean, which is a very difficult voyage. He had 2 heart attacks, and it seemed like Prabhupada would not make it. But Krishna appeared to him at one time during the voyage and said, and gave him confidence. He came to him in a dream and said, I will take you across. Krishna manifested all of his incarnations in the form of rowing the boat that Prabhupada was on, just to assure Prabhupada that you will make it by my arrangement. And then why did Krishna make it difficult for Prabhupada? And then of course, when Prabhupada got to America, it was also difficult. All of these things were there just to glorify the pure devotee. And therefore, we see the qualities of a great soul, that even if there is some apparent reversal or difficulties, they accept it as part of their devotional service and never deviate. That Krishna arranges that just to glorify his devotee. Therefore, the world understands, oh yes, here is a great spiritual personality. And people are more and more inclined to take shelter of such a person. That was Srila Prabhupada. He apparently had to go through so many difficulties. But he was a Nitya Siddha. He was a person who was commissioned by the Lord to come to the material world, to do the work of spreading Krishna consciousness around the world, according to Lord Chaitanya's formula of chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And Prabhupada worked hard in that direction, and he had to undergo some difficulties, but all of this was an opportunity to glorify Srila Prabhupada and show the quality of a great devotee, that they never deviated by difficulties. In fact, they accept difficulties as opportunities to go forward in spiritual life. So we see in every category of action, the hand of the Supreme Lord is there, whether it's material, spiritual, combination of both. Krishna is the Ishvara Sarvabhutanam, Ridveshe Arjuna Krishna, as it says here. He's situated in every heart. Ishvara, and what is that verse? Ishvara Parma Krishna, Satchit Ananda, Vigraha, Anadir, Adir, Govinda, Sarvakarna Karna. That last line, Sarvakarna Karna. He is the cause of all causes. All activities or all results of an activity have 2 causes. One is called the immediate cause, and one is called the remote cause. The immediate cause is what we see on this level, because something is someone is acting in a certain way, an activity is being performed, and the results are given. That's the immediate cause. But the remote cause is the hidden hand of the Lord behind all of the activity, which is the initiator of both the immediate cause and the remote cause. So when we know that, ultimately, that Krishna is in complete control, and one who takes full shelter of Krishna in devotional service is completely free from the influence of the material energy, is happy, and moves forward on the process of going back home, back to Godhead. And Krishna orchestrates that also. He teaches the devotee, he guides the devotee, he reminds the devotee, he elevates the devotee, he protects the devotee. He's there in all situations to move his devotee back to him in pure Krishna consciousness. Although we don't see that. Just like the legs cannot see the eyes, but the legs are simply moving by the force of the eyes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Thank you so much. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful class. Thank you again and again for reminding us that it's our choice whether we want to be under the control of material nature or under the spiritual guidance of Lord Krishna and Radharani. Thank you, Maharaj. Devotees, please feel free to unmute yourself and go ahead and pose your questions. I see Balaram Prabhuji. Would you like to go ahead with your question?
Hare Krishna, Mataji, thank you. Hare Krishna, Maharaj, Dandot Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for the class, Maharaj. I had one quick question. The question is, the super soul is sitting in the heart in everyone. And is there any way super soul can block our unnecessary desire? Because the desires comes in anyway. As long as we follow, as I think the beginning of the class you said, well, one point of time that desire will fade away. But
he reminds
super
us
soul knows what is good, what is bad. So in that way, super soul can block.
Yeah, he reminds us. We want to do something, but we still want to be Krishna conscious. So the super soul will remind us, oh, you don't really want to do that because it's not good for your Krishna conscious. You want to become Krishna conscious. So he'll remind us in different ways. This is not the right thing to do. But still, you may decide not to listen to the Lord and go ahead and perform the activities anyway. But he works through the intelligence to remind us, or sometimes through the external energy, through another person who will also help us or remind us. In so many ways, the Lord will try to divert our attention away from our wrong desires, knowing what we really want. He will help us in that category. And he does that. But still, the final choice is you.
Maharaj, another.
The child wants to do something. The parent says, no, you don't do this because this will get you, you'll get hurt. And the child will go ahead and do it anyway. But the parents is reminding and sometimes even protecting, but still the child disobeys. So ultimately we have to take that's why we hear regularly from the spiritual master, by reading Srila Prabhupada's books, by hearing his lectures, by doing that with our spiritual master, we are equipped to act in the right way, even when we have these wrong desires. They come up in the mind. Yeah. So we are equipped with the knowledge to reverse our wrong activities before they actually begin to take action. So we should be aware of that, yeah. We need to be equipped with that. Therefore, we need to read regularly, hear regularly, associate with devotees regularly, and we're in the best position to always do the right thing.
Maharaj, how does the super soul is there? So it will record everything. How does Chitragupta, when somebody goes to Yamaloka, Chitragupta can also, it's been recorded with files. I remember that pastime, hearing the pastime about Jaga and Madai, they had books and books and books of so much karma. They had completely full, and they have to recruit new people to even record the activities of Jaga and Madai. So how do that get recorded, Maharaj, in Yamalok?
Well, it's as we're performing the activity in the material sense, these activities are being noted. Chitragupta is the assistant of Yamaraj, and he has his assistants, so they're all working under the direction of Yamaraj to categorize and to record all of the activities of the living entities in the material world. It's a system. And Yamaraj has the power of the super soul. There are two people aside from the super soul himself who have the power of the super soul. One is Yamaraj and the other is Lord Shiva. These two personalities are almost as good as the super soul, especially Yamaraj. The Yamaraj doesn't deal with the devotees, he deals with the non-devotees. So he knows all the activities of the non-devotees. They're all being recorded by his assistants. And therefore, when they come to him after death, he knows exactly how to met out their required punishments.
So end of the day, there is no freedom. Somehow we are dependent, and we are completely dependent on someone. There is no freedom at all.
Yeah, but be dependent on Krishna.
Yeah, that means anybody cannot do anything on their own.
Right.
Somehow they're binded.
You can be under the care of the jail, or you can be under the care of the laws of the state, but both of them are under the care of the state ultimately. Yeah, Krishna is the supreme controller. He's complete. He knows everything at any time, anywhere, always. But he remains aloof from all that, and everything is done by his energies. When it comes to the spiritual activities, he's directly involved. When it comes to material energy, he works through his energies. But everyone is fully controlled. No one, we have the example when Sanatana Goswami was doing his bhajan by Manasi Ganga in the area of Vrindavan. He was right on the outskirts of Manasi Ganga. And right there's a temple called Shakaleshwar Mahadev, Shiva temple. So every night he would sit down and try to write, but the mosquitoes would come and bother Sanatana and would disturb his writing. So he was becoming disturbed in his writing. So one night he decided, this is the last night, I'm going to move somewhere else. But Lord Shiva really liked the association of Sanatana Goswami. So he appeared to Sanatana in a form of a saintly Brahmin. And he said, my dear Sanatana, I understand difficulty you're going through with these mosquitoes. I guarantee you, you stay one more night and you will not be bothered by the mosquitoes. So Lord Shiva gave him that statement. And Sanatana decided, all right, we'll stay another night. In the meantime, Lord Shiva went to the demigod who's in charge of mosquitoes. And he said, keep your mosquitoes away from Sanatana. And the next night, there was no mosquitoes. And to this day, in that spot, there is still no mosquitoes. because Lord Shiva acted for the benefit of Sanatana Goswami. So Prabhupada says there's a demigod in charge of every function of your body. If you have to open your eyes to move the eyelid up, there's a demigod who's in charge like that. But you have to understand all of these demigods are simply angas of the Supreme Lord, and so they work under his control. But for the materialists, they are controlling for Krishna, just as the jailers control for the state for the deviant prisoners. But
Thank
you're
you,
right, everyone's under control. But why not be under control of Krishna? Because if you're under control of Krishna, you're happy, you're free.
Exactly right. Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you very much. Please bless us in this month of Kartik so that we can do more devotional service.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj, for your wonderful blessings. Devotees, may I request you to kindly switch on your videos so Maharaj can see all of you. And I have Scarlett Mataji from Sweden, Sukhakara Prabhuji. Please go ahead. Scarlett Mataji, would you like to go ahead with your question?
Hare Krishna. Is it okay now?
Yes,
Hare
it's
Krishna.
okay.
Please accept my humble obeisances and all glories to Prabhupada, all glories to you, Guru Maharaj. I remember I heard in one of your lectures that there was a saint man who got to get something with the pole to, and he was very angry and thought what's happening, and he asked Yamuna, God of death, what, I don't remember his name. Why should I have to go through this? And he says, because when you were a child, you put the stick in. You remember what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So could it be something like that too?
Well, that's an indication of that's an interesting thing you brought up. That was Vidura.
Yes.
That was actually Yamaraj.
Yes.
It's actually Yamaraj. And there was one person who, he was a sage, he was a Muni. And there was a robbery that took place in his areas, and the thieves had hid in his ashram. So when the police came and the law people came, they arrested the Muni also. And then the Muni was sentenced to death along with the criminals, although he didn't do anything. And he was put on this particular type of torture. It's called shul, very horrible torture, that they drop a person on some upraised swords. And so when the Muni heard about how he was going to be punished, he was thinking, why is this happening to me? And then, so he had the power, so he contacted Yamaraj, and he said to Yamaraj, why am I being subjected to this type of cruel punishment? I didn't do anything. Well, Yamaraj said, well, actually, when you were a child, you were playing with an ant, and you took a straw and you pierced the ant in the backside, and the ant died. So the Muni said, well, that was an activity of a little child, and now I've been put into this horrible situation of punishment. Yamaraj, you don't know what you're doing. Therefore, I curse you to take birth in this material world. And that birth was Vidura, the younger brother of Dhritarashtra, who was actually a great saint.
Exactly.
So why did that happen the way it did? Is that because Yamaraj actually had a personal desire to come to the material world and preach. He's always in a situation where he has to give out punishments to the living entities. This time he wanted to find a way to come to the material world and preach Krishna consciousness. The Lord arranged this whole thing simply for his coming to preach. So Vidura is simply an incarnation of Yamaraj who appeared during the time of Lord Krishna. And you'll see, if you read the Bhagavatam, there are many interactions between Vidura and Krishna, also Vidura and Maitreya, Vidura and his brother Dhritarashtra. Vidura was a very prominent person, especially in the beginning of the third canto.
Exactly.
So yeah, that was an unusual situation. It doesn't fall under the laws of karma.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maharaj. Shukakara Prabhuji, would you like to go ahead?
Hare Krishna, Candramauli Maharaj, all the Maharaj. Now, actually, I've got one question before that. There was one question for Balaram Prabhu. I just wanted to just tell one point. The Srimad Bhagavatam, when somebody is committing any sinful activities, whatever done through the karma, which is already done, there are two representatives of Chitragupta. One is Sahana and one is Sahani. Sahana will record all the activities, karma done, already done. The CCTV is there. And Sahani will record all mentally, whatever you thought bad also, it's being CCTV recorded. So Chitragupta has got done and thought. So both will be produced and nobody can run away. And every demigod is watching every wrong activity done by each senses. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, hands, legs. So everything is proof is there. So nobody can say that I didn't do. They'll say this is your voice, this is your face, this is your mind, this is everything. Sorry, I'm just wanting to clarify whatever I had read and to tell Balaram. That's all. I'm not trying to show off or something. Just I want to clarify the point. That's all.
Yeah,
now I got one question.
Yeah, but I have to add one point. What you say is correct, but there is an injunction that is only appropriate into the age of Kali. In any previous age, that means in Satya Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and in Treta Yuga, one's thought will produce a reaction. So if you had good thoughts with good reactions, if you had bad thoughts, you would also get a reaction for those thoughts. But in Kali Yuga, there is a different injunction. It's mentioned in the first canto. That in Kali Yuga, if you have good thoughts, you get good results for that. And if you have bad thoughts, you don't get bad results for that.
Right. Correct.
The only problem is that you have to be aware that keeping bad thoughts in the mind will eventually lead to those thoughts, and then they may come out in terms of words or actions, and then you are responsible. So, but if they appear in the mind, because Kali Yuga is so bad, such a contaminated age, that even though you want to be free from all bad thoughts, just because the atmosphere is so polluted, sometimes you're in that energy and bad thoughts come. Sometimes in dreams, they appear also. So that is the effects of Kali Yuga. And therefore there is a concession based on that, wherein as long as you don't act or speak, then there is no reaction for negative thoughts. Don't take advantage of that and think I can keep some negative thoughts in your mind, because they will grow and
lead
they grow, they become strong, and then they come out in the form of speaking or acting. As soon as negative thoughts are in the mind, one should be very diligent to stop them by thinking of this, or by thinking of something other than something pleasant, something in the mode of goodness. In other words, don't allow bad thoughts to stay there. Sometimes you feel
one question.
Sometimes you feel envious towards a particular person. So you don't say anything, but that enviousness is bothering your mind. So somehow you have to correct that even within the mind. Otherwise, it'll continue to raise itself. It'll keep coming back. And then it'll cause more disturbance. So one has to overcome even the cause of the negative thoughts by replacing it or by neutralizing it with proper activities.
Thank you, Maharaj. One question which I want to
understand. Wait a minute, before you say, try to understand that point because it's so important. I'm making an emphasis on this point because devotees are not aware. And sometimes they allow their mind to go in a certain direction it shouldn't go in. Although there is no immediate reaction for that, still it can influence one's consciousness. And eventually it may also manifest in the external environment. So be very careful. Always think of Krishna, always think of how to serve Krishna, always think of how to engage in serving Krishna's devotees, always think of how to do good to others. These are all, what we say, acceptable thoughts, not like how to get even with your enemy, or how to, get back at somebody who did something to you. These are all of the thoughts we shouldn't be putting into our minds. Because as I mentioned, and this is very important to understand, the whole atmosphere of Kali Yuga is polluted, highly polluted. And the media helps to pollute it even more. And we are completely connected to the media in all aspects of our life, through cell phones, through computers, through various other electronic devices, and we're always getting some negativity. And the energy that comes from these electronic devices is also can produce negative thoughts just by the nature of that energy. So the point I want to make is it's very difficult to keep free from the wrong thoughts. But therefore, be very, very diligent to always remember Krishna. And then you're safe. And you're also putting your consciousness on the spiritual platform. Thank you for bringing up that point. It's very important.
Maharaj, one quick question relating to what you were just talking about, the thoughts. Now, the thoughts, Maharaj, is not exactly we are able to control. They are like random thoughts. So with our intelligence, we are able to understand that this is not a wanted thought or this is an unwanted thought, which is not suitable. Now, my question is, you were just saying those thoughts can manifest itself. Now, those unwanted thoughts, which we do not want, might even manifest, Maharaj?
If you allow them to, by keeping them in the mind. So you have to immediately pick it out. And I use the word immediately because every second that it stays in the mind, it gets stronger. Same with spiritual activities. The more you meditate on Krishna, the more you think about Krishna, the more Krishna becomes more apparent in your life. And the more you think about something material, the more that becomes apparent. So the whole mind is the directing force for the soul's existence. So therefore, Krishna makes a point, direct your mind towards me. Elevate your mind and don't allow your mind to degrade you. The mind is the best friend and one's enemy as well. So all of our friends and enemies are situated within our own mental process. And every minute we have an opportunity to choose how we're going to focus. And even when we're interacting with others, we should always be aware of how that interaction will take itself into the realm of pleasantries, or something that should be very beneficial for both people. We should always act for the best of others and always act in relationship to religious principles. Because material principles simply drag us down into the three modes of material energy, where lust, anger, greed, illusion, pride, and envy are waiting for us simply by our thought process.
Thank you very much, Maharaj. Sukhakar Prabhuji, please go ahead. My apologies, I started asking. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Maharaj. You gave a very good explanation that how we should not even think of wrong things, because we may think, but later on it may activate into the karma. So we have to always think of Krishna to remove all those bad things. I understood the point. So my question is, Maharaj, in this Kartik Mena, that we are always trying to do devotional service of Krishna, and but sometimes I feel that I want to go to Golok Vrindavan because I want to avoid this miserable material world. More than loving Krishna, it is more of afraid of living here. Whereas the attachment for the family and the near and dear is true one. Whereas Krishna, it is there when we hear the katha, we like it. But we are really not, at least me, not really loving Krishna like my son or my grandson. That is, I'm telling the fact, because I'm not really loving Krishna. How to love Krishna? How to really think him much more than family members?
Yeah, both thoughts are good, loving Krishna and wanting to go back home, back to Godhead, but not wanting to go back home, back to Godhead, because it's such a bad place here, is still a personal desire. But loving Krishna is free from all personal desires. But by loving Krishna, you automatically will achieve going back home, back to Godhead. So you're getting results of both activities simply by serving Krishna with devotion. And when Krishna is ready, he'll take you back to Godhead. Just be patient. That's all. He's
how to start loving more. We are chanting, doing Mangalarti, everything we're doing, but how to really love him?
How to love Krishna more? There's two ways. One, hear about Krishna more and more, his activities, especially in Sri Vrindavan Dham, because Krishna's activities are full of transcendental happiness and ras, and that awakens our desire to hear more about Krishna, and our attachment for Krishna increases automatically. And the other one is preach Krishna conscious. If you want to preach Krishna conscious, Krishna will automatically take you back to Godhead. That's the fact.
Thank you very much.
If you're preaching Krishna conscious,
thank you very much.
Yeah, if you're preaching Krishna conscious, you're remembering Krishna.
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you very much, Maharaj. Thank you, Mataji. Neena Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. We have a question on the chat from Jyoti Mataji, and she says, Hare Krishna, Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam. Please, could you help me understand a question? She says that she knows a young girl of age 15. All of a sudden, she shouts and yells, and no medicines are working. What can I do to approach their parents, because their parents are atheist?
The parents are what?
Parents, she's calling them atheists, so they're not devotees. So she wants to help this non-devotee, where a young teenage girl, 15-year-old, suddenly shouts and yells, and no medicines are supposedly working on her.
What is the question? I'm not sure what the question is. This girl she has atheist parents, and all of a sudden she just shouts and yells. She has some mental problem, therefore she's given some medicines, right? I'm not really clear on what the question was. You have to repeat it because I can't answer it the way it's been given. Hare Krishna.
Yes. Vinita Mataji, would you like to go ahead with your question?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept humble obeisances. Thank you so much for the beautiful class and explaining how it is very difficult to understand karma and how it plays a very great role in our life, and we sometimes very much get scared. Oh, why I'm getting this problem? After all, I'm doing everything good. Why I'm getting? And your lecture today helps us understand that it is all our karma. But in the lecture, you are saying that there is a point where all the karma is removed, and it is only Krishna playing part in our life. So when is that period going to come in a devotee's life? And how do a person know, is it Krishna playing a part, Krishna testing you, or is it your karma? How do we understand that? So sometimes like it says like, okay, Krishna is testing, you have to be very careful, you have to pass the test. So it might be even karma also. So how do I know whether it is my own karma or Krishna is playing with me?
Don't worry about it. It's happening. And therefore just deal with it accordingly. You may not be able to understand whether it's Krishna doing it or whether it's still the reactions of your karma. But in any case, you still have to deal with it. And therefore, for a devotee, it's easy. Just take shelter of Krishna. Call out to Krishna for help and try to overcome the situation by using the intelligence given to you by the spiritual master and by Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj.
This question has come up so many times. It's not a first-time question. Well, how do I know I'm a devotee, and how do I know I'm getting my results from my karma, or is it Krishna doing it? Really, and the answer always comes the same. It doesn't really matter. Just deal with the situation. You can't figure it out whether it's previous karma or right. But you know, one who is situated in devotional service and has been doing it continuously for many, many decades, they start to understand that ultimately it's Krishna, because they can see it's not so much their previous karma, because previous karmas are a little bit more stronger reactions than Krishna. Krishna is very sweet, but still he's teaching us something. He's teaching us something that we shouldn't be doing, or he's teaching us something we should be doing. He's teaching us to become more dependent on him. Something.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you so much for that sweet answer. Very good.
Thank you, Vinita Mataji. What a wonderful question and how simple answer. Thanks to both of you. I have a wonderful comment from Megha Mataji. She says, Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru and Gauranga. Thank you again for yet another simple yet profound class. I'm grateful for your association, your aspiring servant, Megha. Let me see, devotees, any questions if you have, do not hesitate to unmute yourself. We have Maharaja's association here, so ask just pour your heart out with all the questions that you might have.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranams. Maharaj, I have this question Yamraj, when he's talking to the Yamdutas, he tells that when they come and tell about the Vishnu Dutas, he then remembers, oh, such a sweet name, Narayana, my Prabhu. So till that time, was he not chanting Krishna's name? Till that time, why didn't these Yamdutas know that his Lord or whatever they are considering as Yamraj, like he's praying to Krishna? Why didn't they know that? Didn't Yamraj anytime chant Narayana's name in the Yamlok?
Why did the Yamadutas know that? What was the devotion of Yamaraj? Sometimes the servant doesn't know everything about the master. If the servants can understand the master completely, they're on the same level as the master. So for whatever reason, what they approached Yamaraj was, they were acting under the direction of Yamaraj, but at the same time, they were thwarted in their service to take the soul and subtle body of Ajamil to Yamaraj. So they said to Yamaraj, I thought you were superior. And now we see there's somebody else who is superior than you. So they were bewildered. And then Yamaraj revealed to them, yes, there is someone who's superior than you. That is Narayan or Krishna. And therefore he instructed them, do not go near the devotees of the Lord.
So that means like Yamraj never that means that Yamraj never chanted Hare Krishna or Narayana or Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva or something in the Yamlok. Never he did that in the Yamlok, so that they could know, and they might, even doing that, they might ask, right, why are you chanting this, or what is the meaning of this word and all.
You should ask Yamaraj that. I don't really want to answer that question. I don't know what goes on in Yamaloka.
Yeah, because it's been yugas and yugas that Yamraj is there with them, and he's such a nice devotee. He's a Mahajan, so he's an exalted soul. So he should have done that at least once in so many yugas, and so that's what I was thinking. So yeah.
Yama's duties are so busy, they don't have time to hang around Yamaloka. They're always out there catching the Nanda.
So is it something like all those devotees present there in the Yamloka, they are there to suffer? If they listen to this name of Narayana or something, they will get relieved of their sins and they will go back. Is it something like that Yamraj did not chant the name in front of those sinful people or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
He has his personal background.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna. My Dandavat Pranams.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. I just had a question regarding how do we how do we follow in the footsteps of Vaishnavas without accidentally imitating them? Because I know that imitation, I know that Prabhupada said imitation of a Vaishnava is very like you should follow in their footsteps and not imitate them. So how do we try to follow in their footsteps and avoid imitating them by accident? Because I know sometimes that does happen.
Yeah. Good question. Prabhupada deals with that. He says there's two things, anuskaran and anusharan. Anuskaran means following in the footsteps. Sharan means to imitate. So imitation is cheap. There's no substance to imitation. But how do we follow in the footsteps? We learn from those persons that we're following. We observe their character. We also glorify them in their devotional service. We can also understand how they serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So just like Prabhupada talks about Mother Yasoda, and he says anyone who wants to come to the stage of Vatsalya Ras, that means acting in the mood of a parent to Krishna, should study the activities of Mother Yasoda, along with her bodily features also. So we study the person we want to follow, and they can teach us through that study. We glorify them, we hear from them. That's what it means to follow in the footsteps. Manusharan means imitate, and so we try to do what they're doing. But we're not qualified to do what they're doing, so it's just pretense. There are persons who imitate ecstatic symptoms just to show others that they have ecstatic symptoms, but it's all imitation. There's no real ecstatic symptoms there. It's just a show. Or someone will try to imitate Srila Prabhupada by speaking the way he does or acting the way he does, just to get some attention or some expression of their own false ego. So that's cheap.
Thank you, Maharaj. We have a question on the chat where Bhadra Prabhuji is asking. He expresses his humble obeisances and all glories to Srila Prabhupada. He says, my question is in regards to, in Kali Yuga, we don't get reaction when we are committing offense in our mind, but sometimes we are thinking negatively and we see things happening exactly what we are thinking. How should we understand this, Maharaj?
No. If the things are happening the way then the question is, what are you going to do? What's the next step? You're going to ignore it? You're going to get involved in it? So that leads to the next question. What are you going to do? If you see it's harmful to other people, then you may also do something to correct the situation. We talked about that extensively yesterday in our class. That sometimes when something goes wrong, someone else does something wrong, how do we react to that situation? And there's a number of ways you can react that will be helpful, and there are a number of ways that you can react or not react that'll be harmful. So that takes some intelligence. But yeah, that happens. Something is going wrong and we can see it. So what do we do? If it's someone close to you, you may get involved. If it's someone who's not close to you, you might not pay any attention to it. Or if it's someone that's harming other people by their activities, then you may make that known to some authority in order to not allow that to go on. And of course, depends on your position too. If you're a guru, you have to act. If you're a parent, you have to act. If you are a teacher, you have to act. But if you're not in one of these categories, then the choice whether to act or not act depends on whether you can make a difference for the positive or not. But most of the time, better not to act if it's something really insignificant or small.
Thank you very, very much, Maharaj. Tiffany Mataji is full of gratitude. She says that was the first time she had heard a concrete answer to the question on imitating and following the footsteps. So I see Puja Mataji, you have raised your hand. Would you like to go ahead with your question, Mata?
Hare Krishna, Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam. Wonderful, wonderful class as always. Prabhuji, Maharaj, if you allow me, then I want to recite few lines from the Damodar Ashtakam among you.
Go ahead.
Only few lines of Damodar Ashtakam among you, among all the devotees, just few lines.
Not up to me, it's up to Nina. She's the host. She conducts the program. Nina, you're on mute.
Yes, Maharaj. So what did you say? Can Mataji go ahead and sing, Maharaj?
Up to you. You're in charge. I'm just here.
Yes, Mataji, go ahead and have a few lines to sing, and then we will have some other devotees having their questions.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you, Mother. Tababishwaram Sachitanandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajmana Yashodabhiyulukh Labdamana Paramrishta Matyanto Tudrit Gopya Rudantam Muhurnetra Yugmam Rijantam Karam Bhojayugme Shvasakanetram Muhu Shvasakam Patri Rekakakantam Stita Graiva Damodaram Bhakti Badam. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Maharaj. Thank you so much, Maharaj.
First two verses of
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. Shukakara Prabhu, would you like to go ahead with your question, please?
Thank you. That was nice.
Maharaj, actually, the Harita Mata is asking one question. Is Yamaraj why he is not chanting the name of Narayana and Yamalok? Actually, Srila Prabhupada told that Yamaraj is in the office. They are going through the atonement process. So they are going through the danda. So he'll have to do it. But Yamaraj, when he goes to the Pitralok, which is next to the Yamalok, he's doing everyday Nityam Bhagavata Katha. Nityam Bhagavata Sevya. So Mata is telling, oh, in Yamalok, he's not chanting. It's not that he's not chanting. He's a Mahajan. Only in the Yamalok, because they are all going through process of atonement. So they have to go through the sinful activities, sinful reactions. And when he comes in the evening, he comes to the Pitralok, which is next to the Yamalok. And he's doing everyday Bhagavad Katha. 365 days Bhagavad Katha is going on. There he's doing that. So he wears white dress there in Pitralok. And when he comes to Yamalok, he's in the official day, the formal, and that is informal. Just wanted to tell Mataji. Harita Mataji is asking the question, so I wanted to share.
Yes, Prabhu, thanks a lot. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thanks a lot.
That was interesting. First time I heard that. That's interesting. Days of devotee.
Maharaj, I have to go.
I will send you the details.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you so much, Maharaj, for your wonderful class and very beautiful answers, Maharaj. I think it's getting late for you.
About 6:25 in the evening.
Yeah.
6:27 to be exact. I'm in Mayapur. At 7 o'clock, everyone gathers in the temple for Damodar Ashtakam.
Yeah. So you need to go, right?
Well, if there's more questions, we'll still here.
Sorry about that. We took a long time today.
Okay. So, we got a little signal from Mother Puja there that we should be singing Damodar.
You need to go and sing in the temple.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Maharaj. Let's pay our obeisances to Maharaj. Vanchakal patarubhyasya kripasindhuvesya
Patitanam
Vaishnave
namo
namo
namaha.
namaha.
Jai Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai, Prabhupada ki Jai,
Candramauli Maharaj ki jai. Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj, so much.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Wonderful, wonderful session. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you, Maharaj. Wonderful
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Gauranga.
Nityananda.
Gauranga, Nityananda.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe,
Shamakoni
Radhe.
Mataji, are we doing parikrama today?
Nitai Gauranga.
We are supposed to do Mataji.
Gauranga.
Yeah. Thank you, Maharaj.
Nityananda. Gauranga. Nityananda.
We'll see you again.
Gauranga.
Gauranga. Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj.
Maharaj.
Hare
Months,
Krishna.
Maharaj.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Only end the judgmental parikrama now, if that's okay. Padmasaki Mataji, you there?
Mataji, I am there, Mataji.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you so much for staying back. We will continue with our Vrindavan. Hare Krishna. Yeah, we'll continue with our parikrama and we'll see a couple of videos. Just a quick recap. Okay, so yesterday we were doing day 3 like in Mathura. So we'll just do a quick recap. We saw Gokarna Tirtha, then Ambika 1 where Durga Devi temple is there and the Maharaj passed on. And then Dhruvatila, Chakra Tirtha, sorry, Ambarish Tila and Chakra Tirtha. So this is Ambarish Tila. And then we were seeing Dwarkadish Mandir near Vishram Ghat. This is Dwarkadish TT. So we stopped there. I think Vishram Ghat also we finished. Vishram Ghat, Yama Yamuna temple. And then we'll come to Dhruva Ghat today. So what happened in Dhruva? Sorry, we have to take blessings of Radha Shyam Sundar, Krishna Balaram, Gaur Nitai, Tulsi Maharani, Srila Prabhupada, all the Guru Vargas. And then we will start our parikrama from here. So Dhruva Ghat, this is the place where Dhruva Maharaj. So after this, we'll go to Madhuvan. In Madhuvan, we'll see Dhruva Tila, where after Dhruva Maharaj got the instructions of Narada Muni, he went there and he did his tapasya, austerity. So this is the place where he got instructions from Narada Muni. And then we will see Saptarishi Mandir. So all the 7 rishis, Kashyapa, Tri, Vasishta, Vishwamitra, Gautama, Bharadwaj and Jamadagni. And it said that if we dig a hole, like where the sitting place where they're sitting, if we dig a hole, we still see some ashes, remnants of the yagyas. This also comes on the Parikrama mark. And then Peopleshwar Mahadev. As we discussed in Vrindavan, there are a lot of Shiva temples, especially there are 4 Dikpalaks, and in Mathura also we have 4 Dikpalaks. Whole of Vrindavan we have 4, and in Mathura also we have 4. Bhuteshwar, Rangeshwar, Peopleshwar. What's the other one? I forgot. 4th one. So this is Peopleshwar Mahadev, and it is said that Bali Maharaj worshipped this Peopleshwar Mahadev here, this deity. We'll see that. And then actually this is the same path that Krishna and Balaram also took when they were coming from Vrindavan to Kamsa's place. We'll see that. So here on the way, that is when Krishna met the washerman. he killed the washerman. We know all pastimes in Krishna book. And then he will, after the washer, in fact, Krishna actually asked the washerman for like not the new clothes. He said, if you can't give new, at least give me what you don't need. That also he was not agreeing. And then the pastime where the washerman is killed happened, and then they all take the clothes, they'll go to a tailor, and the tailor will beautifully redesign. Now these days this concept I'm seeing everywhere, redesigning your old jewelry, old dresses. So the tailor redesigned, attached some nice decorative stuff and gave to Krishna and the cowherd boys. And then they'll see the flower seller. So this is the path on the way. Krishna also saw them. And then we'll see Kupja Mandir. I have a nice video of Kupja Mandir. And we know Kupja, she was Shurpanaka in her previous life. She wanted to marry Lord Ram, and she did tapasya for 10,000 years. And after that, this life, Lord Shiva appears and tells like your desire will be fulfilled. And then, but she came as Kupja, who will make the sandalwood paste for Kamsa in the kingdom of Kamsa. And when Krishna sees her, he will address. She's called as Trivakra because she's bent in 3 places. She looks very ugly physically, but Krishna will call her as, hey, beautiful lady, can you please give me the sandalwood paste? And she never said that, oh my God, this sandalwood paste I made for Kamsa. If I'm not giving him, he might kill me or he might punish me. Without having any second thought, she did give to Krishna, because as soon as she sees, she feels like so devotional, so attracted, and then she gives. And immediately Krishna, if we do little, he'll give so much. So with just one touch, he will make her very, very beautiful. So, and actually Kupja used to worship Krishna's deity in this place. There is Kupja's coop well also in this place. There's temple well, but I heard that it is closed now, the well in this place. I don't know if that is true, but I heard that. We'll see the video. And then Rangeshwar Mahadev. So Rangeshwar, Ranga Bhumi means a place of entertainment. So this place, we'll see the video of this as well. Kamsa specifically designed for Krishna and Balaram when they were coming. He designed this area in this place of Rangeshwar Mahadev. And this was the place where the wrestling match happened. And at the entrance of Rangabhumi is when Krishna killed Kolaipedia elephant as well. So in Rangabhumi, we have this Rangeshwar Mahadev. So Kamsa used to worship this form of Shiva. And he's the protector of the southern side. And now in Rangabhumi, there's a wrestling match, and we only know Chanur Mushtik, but there were 3 other. Chanur, Mushtik, Sala, Kuta, and Tosha. They're all 5 wrestlers, but they were sons of Uttatya Muni. But they didn't, for some reason, like how a doctor's son don't want to be a doctor, a teacher's son don't want to be a teacher. They didn't want to take up any Brahmanical services. Like they didn't want to get into that field. Rather, they learned wrestling from Bali Maharaj. And when Uttatya Muni comes to know that, he will curse that you will be born in Bharata Varsha. And Kamsa one time, he just finds them, and then he will say like, we will do a fighting, and then if you lose, you have to become my servants. And they lost. So Kamsa could defeat even them. And they came as servants of Kamsa. That's why Kamsa was very sure that they are going to defeat Krishna and Balaram, because he was very sure about their strength. But still Krishna killed them. No matter how demoniac, still Krishna kills. So, and after Rangeshwar Mahadev, we will, as we are going, we will see on the road, we'll see this mutt, Keshav Gaudiya mutt, and this was established by Bhakti Prajnana Swami Maharaj, and he is the god brother of Srila Prabhupada, and in fact he is the sannyas guru of Srila Prabhupada also. In 1959, Prabhupada took sannyasa from Bhakti Prajnana Maharaj, and we have the deities of Radha, Vinod Bihari here. And then we will come to Bhuteshwar Mahadev. Bhuteshwar Mahadev, he looks very scary, but he is very merciful, I heard. And one of the Pune articles I have seen, when we come to Mathura, first we have to take blessings of Bhuteshwar Mahadev and then only go for Mathura's Parikrama. Actually, he's Bhuteshwar Mahadev is the Lord of Ghosts. So Shiva is very merciful, is giving shelter to ghosts. And this is Bhuteshwar Mahadev's deity. He's one of the Kshetra Palak. Actually, there are 4 Kshetra Palaks: Shakleshwar Mahadev in Govardhan, Kameshwar Mahadev in Kamyavan, Gopeshwar Mahadev in Vrindavan, and Bhuteshwar Mahadev in Mathura. These 4 are of the entire Vrindavan, 4 sides of Vrindavan. And with Bhuteshwar Mahadev, we will end our day 3 parikrama. So this is the last of Mathura. From here, we will be entering Madhuvan. 9, 10. Mataji, shall we go to Madhuvan or should we see the videos and stop?
Is that the Gaudiya Math you showed? Is that the same Gaudiya Math where Srila Prabhupada went to see his Guru Maharaj, and Guru Maharaj was having the...
I don't know, Mataji, that. Do you...
And Srila Prabhupada stayed back with his Guru Maharaj. I think that's the one.
But maybe tomorrow, let me check, Mataji. I will check and then tomorrow I will say if that is the same one. I think we can see the next one also, Mataji. It's not very big. If the devotees are okay, can we ask them? Should we end or?
Can we stay for some time and go to next one? Madhuvan?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay.
Madhuvan is Madhu is sweet. So they say it's the forest of sweets. So there's sweetness. There are 12 forests of Vrindavan. So Vrindavan is also one amongst the 12 forests. So we are in Vrindavan till now. Now we will be going to Madhuvan. This is the place. This is the map. So from Bhuteshwar Mahadev, we will take this parikrama mark and we will come all the way here, Madhuvan. And in Madhuvan, we will see Lavanashur's cave, Dhruvtila, Shatrughna temple, these things. So Madhuvan now is called Mahuli Gram. See how beautiful the Vrindavan cows are. Very beautiful. It's a very nice village. If you see, all greenery, lot of that's very beautiful. So much greenery is there. So Madhuvan, as I said, this is called as forest of sweetness, and this is very special because in 4 yugas the Lord is there, like in Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, even Kali Yuga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was there. So in Satya Yuga, what happened? Dhruva Maharaj's pastime. So if in this place, so what happened? Swayambhu Manu had 2 sons, Vino Priyavarta and King Uttanapad, and today's it's called as Kanpur and Bithur. These 2 places are that was the place where Swayambhu Manu was there in Satya Yuga. Today's Kanpur and Bithur, and if we go to Bithur, Bithur has Valmiki Muni's ashram also. During Lord Ram's time, Valmiki Muni's ashram was in this Bithur, and now the famous Brahmavartha Ghat is there in Madhuvan. Now if we go, it's very famous, and it is said that Lord Brahma hammered the universe here with a nail at Brahmavartha Ghat. So Madhuvan is the center of the universe. If that is the case, then Madhuvan is the center of the case, center of the universe. And then we will not see the famous Dhruva Maharaj's pastime in the interest of time, but most of us know why Dhruva Maharaj had to leave the house, because his stepmother Suruchi was little arrogant with him. She didn't let him sit on his father's lap. And when he goes to his mother Suniti, she will say, only Lord can help you. She gave a very good direction, and then immediately walk. Then he asked, where is he? She'll say, go to the forest, and then he'll come to the forest to Dhruva Ghat, and that's when Narada Muni comes and tests him to see his determination. He'll say, you look very little, you can't do all this, just go back. But he was very determined to be there, and that's when Narada Muni gives the suggestion, go to Dhruvtila, and he gives the mantra to recite, and for 6 months Dhruva Maharaj did his austerities, and that is when Narayana, Lord Vishnu appeared. So we'll see what happens. So this is Dhruvtila. This is the place, a small monument They built in them like a memory. And then this is how we'll walk. If you're Tila means basically a small hill. So we'll take steps and go to the temple. And see, this is very special. These are the footprints of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And if you ask if they are originally there, like in Dhruvatila, no. Like they collected from the original footprints at Jagannath Puri Mandir, and using the Sindur imprint, then they carved in Jaipur and installed here with the proper Prana Pratishta. On the 500th anniversary of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Brajamandal Parikrama, they did this. Now if you go, you can see this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's footprints at Dhruvatila. These are the steps. So there is Dhruva Narayana temple here. So take the steps. We are going up, and this is the
Mataji, on the steps there is written something. Can you show the picture? Yeah. Bhagavad Kripa, Santa Kripa, Satsang, Vivek, Shraddha. Like that, it's written on the steps, how bhakti goes step by step, like that. The causeless mercy of the saintly person and the association of devotee and the faith, like that. Navavidha Bhakti.
Okay, so now after climbing the steps, then we will see Dhruva Narayana deities here. See, these are that beauty. And then there's Shivling also in the corner of Dhruva Narayana temple. Narayana is in the middle, right side is Dhruva Maharaj, and left side is Narada Muni. Dhruva Maharaj is Guru. And then on the right side of the altar, we'll see Srinathji, Uddhavji. And then on the left side, we'll see Lakshmi Narayana and Garuda. So basically, this is the center, and left side and right side, we have these deities.
Mataji,
And then,
is there a lingam? Is there a Shivalingam?
yes, Mataji, in the corner there is. Corner of the temple, there is Mataji Shivalinga.
Thank you, Mataji.
And then this is Madhuvan Bihari also. These deities are also there. Beautiful. They look very beautiful. And then Krishna Kund. So now we have Satyuga, Krishna had come for Dhruva Maharaj. Now we'll see first when Lord Ram. 1 minute. We'll see Treta Yuga first and then come back. So in Treta Yuga also, there is a pastime related here. So in Madhuvan, what happened was there was a demon named Madhu. And demons always, like we see Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, they all want their fame and glory. They don't want the Lord's name and fame to be spread out. So he named like today's Mathura or Madhuvan. It was named as Madhupuri under his name. And then he did a lot of austerities to Lord Shiva, asking for immortality. And Shiva gives him a trident. And he says, in future, this trident is going to come back to me after you have a son. But as long as you have with you, you'll be protected. Like that he will say. And what will the Madhu demon do? He will give that trident to his son Lavanasur. And Lavanasur was even so bad than Madhu demon. He was creating a havoc. Actually, one time, I think King Manduka of King Mandata or Manduka, he conquered all the kings and all the planets. And King Indra, then when the demigods, Indra will say, you please go and conquer Lavanasur. You please do that. But then King Mandata was also not able to defeat him. The one who conquered everybody, he was not able to conquer Lavanasur. So he was creating such a big havoc. And one sage, I forgot the name, he will come to know that Lord Ram is back from the forest, like after 14 years. And then he will go with other sages, and he was telling all the problems to Lord Ram. And Shatrugna was there. And actually, Shatrugna, like when Ram had amongst the brothers, he gave like different areas, you rule. Shatrugna, under Shatrugna came this Mathura part also. Mathura and Madhuvan, we just entered Madhuvan, right? So it's still in the border. So he, like, Shatrughna was taking care of this part, and somehow when Shatrughna was there, immediately Shatrughna says to the sages, "Oh, I will take care of that. Don't worry. It's a simple problem." And he will realize, "Oh, when my elder brother is there, I am talking. How can I talk?" He'll say, "Oh, my dear brother Ram, I'm so sorry. They were telling to you, and I just spoke without your permission." But Ram says, no, you can do it. You can just please go and handle this." And then now Shatrughna will go to fight with this demon Lavanasura. And on the way is when that Bitur village comes, and he will know Valmiki's ashram is there. He wanted to go take blessings, and Dinabandhu Prabhu explains that that was the time when Sita actually gave birth to the twins, Lava and Kusha. She was there in Valmiki's ashram, and Shatrughna sees her, but he didn't want to go in front of her and create a disturbance and make her feel bad. So just offering obeisances to Mother Sita, he will just circumambulate around the like that room, that hut that she was staying. He will just circumambulate. He'll take blessings of Valmiki, and he will come to this place where the demon Lavanasura is there. And one fine morning, he will observe. That is the strategy of mind strategy, right? So he'll be observing, because he knows the trident. He wanted to catch Lavanasura when the trident was not there with him. So one time he'll go for breakfast, and he'll bring huge crocodiles, wild boars hanging on either of the shoulders on his hand, and Lavanasura will be coming. And Shatrughna comes and challenges him and kinds of triggers him, ignites that anger in him, and then he will challenge, fight. So the demon gets very angry, like, "You think I cannot fight without any weapons? So I am fighting." And he will start fighting. And even it was a tough fight. Shatrughna was also, seems like he was losing. But finally, Lavanasura, because he didn't have that trident with him, he was actually going to bring, but before that, Shatrughna killed him. And that's how Shatrughna won the battle, and Shatrughna ruled this place. And it said that he brought a Varaha deity also, and he established here. I was trying to for the pictures, but I couldn't find. Today, if I find, tomorrow I'll show. So that Varaha deity also he kept here, and he worshipped. And later, this became like Mathura. Before it was Madhupuri. So Treta Yuga also, Lord Ram was here. Of course, Shatrughna was here, but Ram, Shatrughna, pastime is related to Madhuvan. And now Krishna. So Krishna would come here for, and Radhanath Maharaj explains, like, the trees are so beautiful, the smell is so beautiful, there were lots of bees, and there was honey actually. Krishna and the cowherd boys used to come with the cows, and in one time the cows were thirsty, the cowherd boys were thirsty, and Krishna uses his flute and just digs this well kund, and the water comes, and they all quench their thirst. And it is said that Krishna, whenever he comes here, he will not use his hands to drink water. He will directly, like the cows, he'll directly keep his mouth and drink this water. So this water is like Krishna directly drank water from this Krishna kund. This is also here in Dhuvan. All close by, near Dhruv Tilla. If you come, you can see. And opposite to this Krishna kund, we see again one more Dhruva Narayana deity, small shrine. And so Tri Yuga, and this is Lavanasura's cave, Lavanasura's Guha. And here we will see a very special, when we see this, we will think it's Krishna's deity, because Balaram usually is in white complexion, but this is the deity of Balaram, and with his two wives Varuni and Revati. So why Balaram is the darkest in complexion? Like we saw recently, day before yesterday at Imlita, what happened? When Krishna got so absorbed in the thoughts of Radharani, he got the complexion of Radha. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came here chanting at Imlital, and he was thinking about Krishna, he got the Sham complexion. So like that, Balaram, one time he comes to visit Vrindavan from Mathura, because Krishna wanted to go. After Krishna left, all the Vrajavasis were very sad, and Krishna wanted to go, but he was not able to go. And Balaram thought, at least I will go and see the Vrajavasis. And when he comes, he will see how much absorption the Vrajavasis have and love towards Krishna. In that thoughts and absorption, seeing them, he will get the complexion of Krishna. So we in Vrindavan we'll see Balaram deities little different places where he is in this dark complexion, Shyama complexion. So we will see Dauji temple also in Madhuvan. And I don't know if we have Shatrughna temple elsewhere in India, but in Vrindavan we have this very special deity of Shatrughna and his wife Shrutakirti, and this is the temple because we just saw that Shatrughna ruled. And so we have seen where Lord was here in Satya Yug, Treta Yug, Dwapar Yug, and now in Kali Yug, even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came. That's why his footprints were also there, right? We have seen in near Dutila. So Mahaprabhu also, when he came for the Vrindavan Parikrama, he always visited Madhuvan. So we will end here. Tomorrow we will see day 5, Palavan. Thank you all so much for patiently waiting. We'll see some quick videos. 5 more minutes.
Thank you, Mataji. That was quick.
Yes, Mataji.